Hello, and welcome to Flixplained, the channel where we take your favourite flicks and series and break them down to ensure you don't miss a single detail. Chainsaw Man took the anime world by storm when Season 1 began airing in October 2022. Fans of the manga series were happy to see an anime adaptation, and it also managed to pull in countless new fans to the series that have no idea what's in store for them in the future. Now, because the first season of the anime only covers up until around chapter 38 of the manga, we'll be sure to stay away from any information that might be considered a spoiler for future episodes that haven't been released yet. That being said, in today's video, we're going to be discussing a ton of facts about Chainsaw Man that you might not have known about. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video to find out what would have happened to Denji if he didn't need to fuse with Pochita to survive. Kobani's car was more popular than Kobani. Kobani is a devil hunter that fans certainly enjoyed, but apparently not as much as they enjoyed her car. In the first popularity poll that was taken for the series, Kobani managed to rank number 8 on the list, which is pretty good. But when you consider the fact that Kobani's car ranked number 7, it gets a little bit sadder for the character. However, that's better than what some of the other characters got beaten by in the second poll, but we'll get to that with a later fact. Denji has always been fueled by basic desires and needs. At first, when the series was coming out, Denji was catching a lot of flack for basically being driven by the want, or in his case the need, to get a squeeze on, for lack of a better phrase. A consistent theme with Denji throughout the anime and manga is his desire to fondle someone, but it's actually a bit deeper than that, and fans have started to take notice. Denji has always been a character that was driven by very simple or basic desires. When he was a kid, his sole purpose was to survive long enough to see the next day. Then it became collecting enough money to pay off his debt. It was never about getting rich though, it was just about earning enough, which is the key word. He doesn't need big dreams to fuel him, he just needs a little something to give him the drive. And now that he doesn't have to worry about his father's debt and actually has the opportunity to possibly get some action, which was something he claimed he had given up on a long time ago, his sole purpose for living is to possibly get to do a bit of fondling. In other words, Denji is Leonard Skinner's simple man. Pochita was based on a specific chainsaw. There is no doubt that Pochita was supposed to be a chainsaw, hence why he was called a chainsaw devil. But did you know that he was actually modeled after a specific type of chainsaw? Pochita was designed to look like a Makita chainsaw, which was founded in 1915 and looks exactly like the adorable little demon pup. And the fact that Pochita's eye is where the cap for the gas tank is absolutely killed me. An intro full of Easter eggs. Chainsaw Man has one of the best intros that I've seen an anime have in a long time. And after discovering all of the Easter eggs and references used in it, it's easy to see why it looks so good. Starting with a shot of Denji and the other hunters suited up walking through the street, we have a reference to Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. Then, we saw young Denji cradling Pochita, which is a shot-for-shot reference from a scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Next, we get a glimpse of the captain pointing a gun, which is another shot-for-shot reference to Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. There is also a reference to No Country for Old Men, as we see the character Galgali sitting on a bed removing his shoe. Now, there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of more references to other films and series all throughout the intro to Chainsaw Man that we could do an entire video on. So, if you'd like to see that, please let us know in the comments below, because trust us, there are a ton of Easter eggs to hunt for. The manga with the most deaths. Back in 2020, before Chainsaw Man was even thought of to become an anime, the manga that it's based on was making massive waves for itself. It grew in popularity very fast with each chapter that was released, and by the end of 2020, it won what is perhaps one of the coolest awards that a manga or anime could win. Chainsaw Man officially had the most deaths out of any manga in 2020, and thus won the award titled Manga with Most Deaths. How fitting is that for such a bloody but emotional series? The first Chainsaw Man character. Like most major mangaka or manga creators, Fujimoto didn't just rise to stardom without spending his life practicing and improving on his craft. And it turns out, one of the main characters of Chainsaw Man actually appeared in a childhood fantasy story that he had written when he was much younger. Fujimoto revealed that Makima was originally created for something that he was writing called Breath of the Stars. This gave him a clear picture of what his character would look like when he brought Makima over to Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man cameo in My Hero Academia manga. As we mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to try and stay away from spoilers that might come out of later chapters in the manga. But in this case, it's not a spoiler at all, and actually, it's a fun little Easter egg that came out of the manga for My Hero Academia. In the background of a panel found in chapter 259 of My Hero Academia, if you look closely at the background among the other heroes, you can very clearly spot Chainsaw Man hanging out with them. This cameo was made possible simply because both mangas are owned and produced by Shonen Jump, and they tend to do fun little Easter eggs like that all the time. Chainsaw Man takes place in 1997. It's clear right away that Chainsaw Man was set in a different time period than the modern day. I mean, no one had their face stuffed into cell phones and none of the cars looked flashy and new. But in the anime, they never mentioned the actual day or year that the show was set in. Thanks to the manga though, we now know that Chainsaw Man was set in 1997 and is set in an alternate version of history, where the Soviet Union still existed, but events like the creation of atomic weapons or the Holocaust never happened. According to Fujimoto, no war has taken place in the world of Chainsaw Man since World War I. Denji was born in 1980. In the series, it's sort of hinted that Denji doesn't know how old he actually is, and he only thinks that he's around the age of 16. But since we know that the series takes place in 1997, after looking at the birth year that Fujimoto listed in Denji's character description, it's easy to determine that Denji was actually a year off. It turns out that he was born sometime in 1980, which would put him around the age of 17 at the beginning of the series. Power's cat has two names. There is no way that you could forget Power's adorable cat Meowie if you watched the anime or read the manga. She is a fluffy ball of pure goodness, and the only thing that drives Power to actually care about anything. But did you know that Meowie technically has two names? In the original Japanese iteration of the manga, Meowie is referred to as Nyako, which is a cute way of saying Neko, which is cat in Japanese. However, instead of just translating Meowie's name to cat in the English version, the creators decided to go with the name Meowie instead. All of Denji's organs came back thanks to POCHITA. At the beginning of the series, Denji looked noticeably different than he did after receiving his devil powers. This was mainly due to the eye patch that he was sporting over his right eye, which insinuated that he had lost it somehow. Well, Denji himself revealed that he didn't find certain organs necessary, and in order to earn some money to pay off the Yakuza, the character sold his right eye, one of his testicles, as well as one of his kidneys. However, thanks to his new healing abilities from merging with POCHITA, all of his organs grew back. Power is the most popular character in Chainsaw Man. At a single glance, any anime lover could tell you that Power is going to be a popular character. She looks like she can kick ass, she has pink hair, horns, and an awesome pattern in her eyes. That's like going right down the checklist of what makes a beloved anime character. That being said, I wonder if Fujimoto realized how much fans were going to love her. Because, in the first popularity poll for Chainsaw Man, which is conducted by Shueisha, a company that is partnered with Shonen Jump magazine, Power is the most popular character in the entire series. And though she may have dropped down to third place in the second popularity poll, she managed to show up twice on that listing thanks to this next fact. People even love Power's chest pads. In Chainsaw Man, Power revealed that she used pads to make her chest appear larger. This provided a funny moment where Denji was caught off guard, and honestly, a lot of people reading the manga were at first too. It was just an interesting detail to add. Well, apparently fans loved it because Power's chest pads ranked number 25 in the second popularity poll for the series. That means that some fans liked Power's pads more than they liked some major characters. Young Denji's voice actor was in Attack on Titan. Though the young version of Denji only appeared a few times throughout the first season of the anime, fans of the show still might have recognized his voice from another really popular anime. Marina Eno was the voice actress that brought young Denji to life, but before she had been cast as the adolescent version of Chainsaw Man's main character, she was recording voice lines for her character in Attack on Titan, Armin Arlet. On top of that, Marina is also known for her role as Mai in Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as being the woman behind the Japanese dub of Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk in the popular Disney Plus series. The origin of Power's name. Right away, Power's name separates herself from all of the other characters in the show, all of whom had Japanese names. And though it might seem like her name is Power because of how strong she is, there's actually a much more complex reason for that. Fujimoto revealed during Jump Festa 2021 that Power's name was derived from the Christian hierarchy of angels. In Christianity, Powers is the name used for the middle order of the angels that are believed to have power and control over the forces of evil. Their task was suppressing this evil from doing any harm, and from that concept, the creator chose to use the name Power for our favourite fiend. Denji is a hybrid. Denji is one of the most interesting characters in Chainsaw Man, and not just because he's the title character, but instead because he's the only devil-human hybrid that we've seen so far. As you know, Denji was a human before he merged with POCHITA and became Chainsaw Man, and normally that would have either turned him into a devil or a devilman. However, it's explicitly stated that Denji isn't a devilman, which would only have been the case if POCHITA had fully taken over Denji's corpse. But since they merged, he somehow became the mixture of a human and a devil. the true inspiration behind Power. We talked about the fact that Power was rated the most popular character in the series by fans in the Shonen Jump poll, and this was mainly because of her hilarious attitude. Power is shown to be very greedy and self-centered and basically just acts like a spoiled brat all the time. Well, it turns out that this attitude was largely inspired by two very big pop culture characters. The first was Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski, and then Fujimoto combined him with Eric Cartman from South Park, and when all was said and done, ended up with the perfect inspiration for the Blood Fiend, Power. Denji is Fujimoto's favorite character. We spoke earlier about Chainsaw Man and its characters earning a ton of votes in the Shonen Jump popularity poll. Well, while thanking the community for their support, the creator of the series shared some information about his favorite character. In Fujimoto's reply to the poll results, he spoke about the character Aki and how he was originally modeled to have a more gothic style. But if that wasn't shocking enough, he wrapped up his statement by saying, "By the way, Denji is my favorite character." This is very similar to the creator of Dragon Ball and the fact that his favorite character is Son Goku. All of these characters end up being like children to their creators, so it's no surprise that their own creations would be their favorites. Plus, Denji's a simple man who knows what he wants out of life. What's not to like about that? Pochita considered Denji his real friend. While it might seem, at first, that Pochita was just another devil who decided to jump at an opportunity to use a human for their own personal gain, that couldn't be further from the truth. When Pochita teamed up with Denji, and even when he decided to merge with the human to save his life, he was doing so because he trusted the young man. This became clear when Pochita was shown crying as he waited for young Denji to return home after the devil hunter thought that his companion had run away or been kidnapped. When Denji returned home, they were both equally happy to see each other, solidifying that they truly cared for one another. Denji doesn't have a last name. Ever since his parents died, Denji has chosen to only go by his first name, and stopped using his surname altogether. Over time, the name has sort of faded from existence, and as of right now, even in the manga, no one knows what his last name really is. Some fans believe that Denji's reason for dropping, and eventually forgetting the name, is because of all the debt that his father left him with. Perhaps he just wanted to forget the family that left him with such a troubled and violent existence. Denji was already on the verge of death. It turns out that even if Denji hadn't been taken to the abandoned factory building by the devil that had taken over the Yakuza and hacked into pieces, he would have still likely died. All throughout the first episode of the show, before he became the Chainsaw Devil hybrid, Denji was shown coughing up blood, and in the episode, he mentioned that his mother died from a heart disease that resulted in her coughing up blood in a similar manner. This means that it wouldn't have been long before Denji suffered the same fate and succumbed to a terminal illness. Now, if that was the case, there's a good chance that Pochita would have still saved him. There's no guarantee, considering Denji gave him permission to take over his body and use it for himself should he die as his mother did. We couldn't get enough of all the Easter eggs in the show's intro, but what was your favourite Chainsaw Man fact from today's video? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out our channel for more Flexplain magic.